Hello, and welcome to Dark Hearts with Stacy Lee. I am so glad you're here today because it's Cult Day here on Dark Hearts, and I'm not even going to pretend to tell you that today's episode is going to be at all professionally delivered, because this is some of the most stupid, ridiculous, dorky, embarrassing shit I have ever seen in my life. I also just realized that pulling my hair back like this makes me look like I have horns. It's cute in person, it's not really giving on camera. But I guess it's right on theme, because every time I do one of these cult episodes, the cult followers and people that think that way come on and call me a demon, say that I'm unenlightened and I have a black heart. And I'm like, yeah, duh. You guys, just wait. This story today, Miley Cyrus has been tied to this cult. Fletcher, I didn't know who that was, but she's big. She has supposedly taken the classes. Shawn Mendes is said to be a member, which that totally checks out. But as laughable and cringy as this cult is, there are actual victims, as there are with any other cult we cover. And of course, there's nothing funny about that. This cult has celebrities, famous TikTokers, and weirdos of every shape, size, and form in it, which makes it all the more goofy and, of course, all the more dangerous. We've got karate. We've got wizards, we've got magical swords, we've got ancient gods, and we've got a pot-bellied, ponytailed goofball from Iceland stealing money and doinking his followers, because of course we do. Buckle up, make yourselves a coffee or a stiff drink, and put on your crash helmets. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this. True crime, dark stories, and as always, wacky cults. This is the story of one of the wildest, newer cults you've never heard of, the Modern Mystery School. I'm your host, Stacy Lee. Let's begin. Yes, my friends, this cult claims that the lineage of the Modern Mystery School dates back to the times of King Solomon over 3,000 years ago. I honestly have to try and hold it together because we are just starting. But apparently after 3,000 years of magic and mysticism traveling through human history, the crown of knowledge and truth landed on this guy, Gudni Gudnason, in 1997. Who is this supernatural being with such great wisdom and divinity, prized above all other humans so much as to be chosen to continue this magical lineage? He's a basketball coach from Iceland. He is also one of the biggest con artists of all time. Goodney is also a karate-obsessed, wannabe failed movie star. He opened Iceland's first bodyguard school that has since been denounced by the government. And imagine my delight, but not surprise, when, as I was researching this story, I found out that our buddy Goodney got run out of Iceland and went, where? Oh, he came here to Utah, home to so many multi-level marketing, self-help guru wannabe, cult leader in training people who are just waiting for a new savior to take their money. We're getting there, and it is worth the wait. So Goodney, his birth name was Gudni Gudnason. I know I'm butchering that. We're calling him Goodney today. Decides at a young age that he was born for stardom. He claims that when he was born in 1958, he had a twin, and that twin brother died 30 minutes after birth. But that twin stayed with his brother, Goodney, all throughout Goodney's life to teach him lessons from the spiritual realm. Goodney claims that at age 10, he was forced to choose whether or not he wanted to join his brother and transcend the physical world. And for 3 years, he wrestled with this decision before deciding that he needed to stay here on Earth to share what he knows. He was 13. This guy has told so many different versions of his life story that it's impossible to know the truth and what is a lie. He claims that he joined a mystical order in England where he studied for many years. But he also claimed that he studied for many years in Tibet, Africa, Transylvania, Japan. He says he is a master of martial arts, that he is a doctor of metaphysics, that he was a bodyguard to the Dalai Lama, and that he won Poet of the Year. But he never says which country that happened in. This guy claims that he was close personal friends with David Bowie, and that before David Bowie died, he chose Goodney to carry on his legacy. I am not here for any David Bowie slander or lies about David Bowie. In the 1970s, Gudni got really into martial arts, and that landed him a very small role in an Icelandic movie, in the booming Icelandic movie scene. Goodney was convinced that he was going to be a huge movie star, but he never got another role. He moved to Sweden in the early 1980s, where he got involved with these twin brothers who did martial arts and dancing, and they formed some sort of a troupe. I don't know. And then by 1992, Goodney was back in Iceland, claiming to be a master of Kamawasa and telling people he was opening a Kabbalah center. Kamawasa is some sort of branch off that Goodney kind of made up. I guess the idea of kaima, I hope I'm saying that right, refers to the way you tense your muscles at the end of a push or a kick in martial arts with like expert precision. I guess the theory or the concept is real, but not in the way that Goodney teaches it. Not long after opening his martial arts studio, the higher-ups in the martial arts community basically shut Goodney's practice down because he was not qualified to be teaching. There were people that were going to his classes that actually knew more than he did and realized, like, this guy is full of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So after he was exposed in the martial arts scene in Iceland, there's going to be a lot of wacky sentences today, so just buckle up. Goodney decided to open up a bodyguard training center. Apparently, there's a big need for bodyguards in Iceland as well. The training center failed within months, and then Goodney opened a martial arts studio where he also taught crystal healing and gave energy massage. Not months after opening that business, someone took a video at a martial arts tournament this guy hosted, and the police and parents were shocked to see children fighting each other without any type of protective equipment. Just kids going at it. Was it an episode of, I think it was Seinfeld, where Kramer was fighting children at the dojo? Yeah, these kids were fighting with basically just kind of boxing gloves on, but they had no headgear. They had no protection for their teeth. And people were mortified when these videos started to get passed around. Just tiny fists of fury pummeling each other. People begin to look into who this guy, Goodney, is, and they find out he has been lying the entire time about having a black belt. He's lying about his training and his history. Not only is he not a black belt, he doesn't have much training at all. So Goodney gets officially denounced by the karate and judo associations in Iceland and was then criminally charged in 1995. He then flees Iceland and lands where else? Utah. Ogden, to be precise. As soon as Goodney lands in Ogden, he starts a bunch of money-making schemes. He meets a woman named Laurie Seacrest, and they get married. I think Laurie was Goodney's second or third wife. Laurie is a psychic and spiritual healer, according to her website. Together, Goodney and Laurie start the Trilobite Foundation, which teaches techniques, quote, to create a mental state of peace and joy. They also begin selling this drink that's called antimony for $34.95. They claim it is the elixir of life. They claim this drink can open your connection to God. If I could only tell you all the stories of that here in Utah, doTERRA, Young Living, Nature Sunshine, Life Vantage, and especially Mona V. My own Mormon bishop tried to get me into selling Mona V. I really need to do an episode on Utah MLMs. Let me know if you want to hear that. But let me assure you, Goodney and Laurie, they ain't the first two people in Utah to try and peddle a magic elixir. And, also, by the way, he got really into Amway, the granddaddy OG of Utah MLM schemes. And we really should do an episode on Amway, especially the way it existed here in Utah. I was approached so many times by people in Amway, and the way they would weasel and lie to get you into a room with them, it is something that should be studied. Nobody ever called you and said, hey, do you want to hear about Amway? But it's around this time that Goodney starts telling people that he is a direct descendant of the god Thor. Thor is not a real person. He wasn't a person, but somehow Goodney is his direct descendant. Goodney and Laurie begin their triolite or trilobite, I don't know, I found different spellings, foundation, then begin offering every New Age service under the sun. You want neurolinguistics? They got it. Meditation advice? You've come to the right place. Tai Chi? Oh, we do that too. And there was also a little self-defense and combat shooting, and bodyguard training. In 2003, Goodney invented this thing called a stun glove that was supposed to deliver an electric shock to your assailant. Doesn't your New Age belief system involve wearing gloves that give electric shocks to all of your assailants? All of your assailants? But it's around 1998 or 1999 when Goodney starts telling people that he's a mystic. He comes up with this story that he is heir to a 3,000-year-old lineage of wizards and mystics, and that the blood of King Solomon runs through him. Because, they were keeping genealogical and DNA records back 3,000 years ago. Goodney tells his little group of followers that he had been summoned to Utah by a higher power and instructed to open a school to teach this ancient mystery of life philosophy to the masses. He called it the Rocky Mountain Mystery School. What was their slogan? No more secrets. Says the guy who just fled Iceland after being criminally charged for fighting children. The Rocky Mountain Mystery School promised to reveal the great mysteries and the old magic of the ages. Goodney taught alchemy, aura healing, shamanism, and, you know what I'm going to say, you already know, eroticism. There it is. The sex. We absolutely cannot have a cult leader who isn't having lots and lots of sex with his followers. That just wouldn't be right. On May 21st, 1998, Goodney and Laurie told their followers, hold on, I gotta take a breath. I'm sorry, I'm having such a hard time getting through this one. Goodney and Laurie told their followers that they had been taken aboard a spaceship and spoken to by the aliens. Why do they get to go on the spaceship? We've been waiting for that for years here on Dark Hearts. Laurie and Goodney tell their followers that they are in contact with beings from another world. Where did this happen? On a lake in southern Idaho. I'd like to think that of all places the aliens are interested in, Idaho is at the bottom of that list, but that's just me. Goodney and Laurie claimed that this alien race of beings were called the Nathers, and that for 3 weeks, they spoke with the Nathers who gave them the technology and told them to share it with the world. This new technology that human beings did not yet have. Now, here comes the really wacky doctrine, the foundation that Goodney builds his following on. Goodney begins talking about a technique he calls DNA activation. He now calls it life activation. He taught his followers that everyone has 24 strands of DNA, 12 physical and 12 spiritual. Using Reiki, well, kind of the concept of Reiki, but instead of using his hands, Goodney and Laurie would use a crystal wand. They would wave it over the body of their followers. And in doing this, they claimed they could activate 22 of the 24 strands of DNA. Why only 22 of the 24? Oh, because the knowledge required to activate the 2 final strands of DNA had remained a mystery. But then, dun dun dun, the aliens told them how to activate the last 2 strands of DNA. Only Laurie and Goodney could be given that information because Goodney had this magical blood, this mystical lineage from King Solomon. Goodney claims that using his magical lineage and the knowledge given to him from the aliens, sometimes I hear the words come out of my mouth and I'm like, how did we get here? Yeah, I just said that sentence. He could now activate all 24 strands of DNA in a person. Goodney says that a galactic federation allowed him to have this knowledge so he could offer, through his school, a complete physical experience of the physical world. Now, is he offering this to humanity for free? You know better than that. Goodney and Laurie began to gather a larger group of followers. People claim they felt loved and supported in the group, that Goodney and Laurie made them feel like family, that they were personable and kind. And soon, a ranking system was set up within the group because, nothing says universal love and acceptance like categorizing people and making them jump through hoops to level up. The very first students had their DNA activated by Goodney and Laurie. Then those students were taught how to do DNA activations themselves. When the students did those DNA activations on other people, they charged the money for it, and a cut of that money went to the head of the cult. So we're setting up an MLM here. Soon, the Rocky Mountain Modern Mystery School was putting on self-help seminars, rebranding itself into an alien-backed ancient mystery unlocking tool. Goodney and Laurie began traveling the world, giving seminars in the US, Canada, England, and Sweden. Students were paying $1,100 to attend week-long conferences featuring seminars that had classes called things like the laser light healing technologies, charms for women only, and the intergalactic experience. And that was $1,100 25 years ago. In August of 2005, Goodney registered a new business with the state of Utah called Spartan Group Agel, AGEL, which he described on his business application as a multi-level marketing company that has the goal of helping people reach financial freedom. Now, of course, who is running this company and doing the day-to-day work? Goodney and Laurie? No. They were just at the top. The followers were doing all of the work because, of course, they were. I have an uncle that's really high up in a Utah MLM. He has not done anything in 30 years in that thing, and he still gets money from it. The followers were never paid, and on top of the free work they were doing inside the group, they were spending thousands and thousands of dollars, their own money, paying Goodney and Laurie to level up within the school. One follower named Alice said she not only worked for years for free, but spent $80,000 out of pocket to maintain her rank within the cult. Other followers claim they have spent more than $100,000. It's very much like Scientology in the way that you get to one level and then you have to spend more money to get to the next level, more money to get to the next level. You have to buy all the books, all the literature, spend money on the testing. What do they call it in Scientology? Auditing. There's a similar process in the Modern Mystery School. Oh, and by the way, just a little side note here, no big deal. Goodney is boinking his female followers because, of course, he is. He's having all the sex with the female supporters, and after years of this, word finally gets to Laurie, I guess one too many times, and she files for divorce. In 2006, Laurie and Goodney go their separate ways, and that, of course, created a large rift in the Modern Mystery School. Laurie Seacrest stayed here in Utah. I found her LinkedIn page where she has 13,000 followers, and it looks like she is still going strong up in Brigham City, which is way north of me, like 6 hours, maybe 7 hours. My tiny math pea brain does not do miles. I always think of it in travel time. Goodney moved to Japan and married a woman named Aiko Kurosu. I think she was wife number 4. And that's when he rebranded his school from Rocky Mountain Mystery School, no longer in Utah, to just the Modern Mystery School. Now, the followers split. Some went with Laurie and some went with Goodney. In a 2007 blog post, Goodney lashed out at his defectors saying, quote, "This is the same story as in Star Wars with Anakin Skywalker, who turned to become Darth Vader, thinking he was doing the right thing. He was on a mission of light until it was too late. Remember, I told you all that you would wander in darkness and would be misguided, and that I would lie to you to get you off the path. Instead of just doing your job and fulfilling your contract, you chose negativity and judgment. Predictable, to say the least, my dear humans." As if this thing could not get any dorkier, the Star Wars reference is just icing on the cake. Goodney and Aiko then become the face of this new company, spreading their message of peace, love, self-actualization, alien technology, being Thor, talking with extraterrestrials, crystals manifesting, magic potions, hacking your DNA, being bodyguards, pretend karate, being wizards, and self-defense. I think there will be no more microdosing before filming. Goodney continued to grow his little group, and then soon he returned to the United States. It's now October of 2019. A journalist named Mark Wilding, who writes for Vice, had been following Goodney and the Modern Mystery School for some time when he decided to attend a seminar. He arrived at the Columbia Hotel in central London. A speaker named Dave Lanyon was going to teach the attendees of the conference how to discover the hidden knowledge of the universe. There were about 200 people in the room, there to learn how to achieve their limitless potential. A woman named Martina Coogan introduced Dave Lanyon, calling him the youngest CEO in North America who had opened the largest martial arts dojo on the continent. But yet, Martina said, Dave wanted more. Martina said that when Dave Lanyon found Goodney's Modern Mystery School, he knew he was home. She said he went through the lessons in the ranks of the school in record time, achieving the highest possible rank, which is called ipsissimus. Dave Lanyon, rank ipsissimus, which means the most intense self in this line of mystical thinking, then took the stage at this seminar. He told the crowd that he has dedicated his life to serving the world by teaching, healing, and helping people from all walks of life to know thyself. He claims he is a member of the Knights Templar and a world-class martial arts instructor. On his LinkedIn profile, the title reads, Chief Enlightenment Officer, CEO. Now, if you ask other people who have left the Modern Mystery School, Dave Lanyon claims that he was a debt collector for the mafia and that he is still connected to the mafia. He is also a former greeting card salesman, apparently. Dave tells people that he is fulfilling his destiny, that he was born with a keen sense of spirituality and also superiority. Now, let me paint the picture. This guy is in his mid-50s. He's got a gray slicked back hairdo and a gray goatee. He is dressed in like a wizard's robe. The footage is copyrighted by Vice. He's wearing a pentagram charm around his neck and he's got all these gold pinky rings on. He spoke for 2 hours at this seminar about not really a lot, self-belief, passion, confidence, blah, blah, blah. The same stuff they all talk about. Dave Lanyon ended his speech by inviting the audience to join him on the path to self-actualization. And all they had to do was pay £250 for the privilege. Now, within the Modern Mystery School, followers are split into two main paths, the healer path and the warrior path. Those who ascend the healer path become guides. Those who ascend the warrior path become ritual masters. Progress is marked by a series of initiations and ceremonies. Prices for these ceremonies are listed on the Mystery School website. At least that's what they claim. So let's go take a gander at that. Their website is dog shit, by the way. It is so slow and cumbersome. As you can see here, it looks about like you'd expect. I tried clicking on all the different links, but the site is so damn slow, I got tired of waiting. You can see that there are practitioners all over the world, which just goes to reinforce what I say all the time. There's crazy people everywhere. But what can you expect if you join the ranks of the Modern Mystery School? You can expect to spend lots and lots of money, and this is why I hate cults and think it's important to talk about them. They are bilking people for millions. As silly as it all is, these are people who are looking for a community. These are people who are looking for belonging and friendship. And people like Goodney and the thousands of others like him prey on people who are lost and seeking community. I hate it, and I will never stop talking about it. I will also never stop making fun of it because it's ridiculous. But the bottom line is it hurts people. In the Modern Mystery School, you start out as an initiate, and by the time you've spent several $1,000s, you then have the privilege of paying an additional £4,000, I'll let you do the conversion, to learn how to perform life activations. Then, when you complete that course, you get, I so wish I was joking, your own crystal wand. From there, you just keep spending and spending, getting fake certification after fake certification until you enter the School of the Mage. A mage is like a expert magician. When you get to the level where you are allowed to enter the School of the Mage, you get a 10-weekend program wherein you get some sort of contact with Goodney himself. What does this cost? According to some of the former members, anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000. Some say more. Former followers have come out and said, as you would expect, this cult is not what it appears to be. There is a lot of verbal abuse, belittling, threatening, and judgment. If followers do not bring in enough new initiates, they are yelled at, reduced to tears, and taken into separate rooms to be berated for hours for their failures. Then, even when you get to the highest levels of certification, you have to continue spending money to stay at that level. You can't just certify and be done with it. This ain't a forklift, you guys. This is eternal enlightenment. That costs money. And if you don't continue to pay, you are threatened. You are told that your initiations will be stripped, which means you cannot offer training to new initiates. And for a lot of these cult members, that's a major source of their income. The followers are told to quit their jobs, to work at their own expense, and to spend time only focused on acquiring more followers for the cult. On top of that, we've got merch, you guys. Pretty sad this cult has managed to get so much merch out while I'm still working on mine 5 years later. I'm just a one-man show, you guys. I don't have a gaggle of minions, but I am working on merch too. I promise it won't be culty. The cult sells guide candles for $175 a piece. There is a life activation wand for $207. There is an Enochian dagger for $400. And wait for it, there is an exorcism manual for $225. Oh, I can't wait until one of them finds this video and comes into the comments. And then they bring all their little friends with them. When you become certified as ritual master in the cult, you must continue to attend the school's annual Warriors of Light program, which is a retreat that lasts several days. The students practice rituals, spells, meditation, martial arts, and of course it costs thousands and thousands of dollars. You can even get certified in the cult to perform baby blessings for the low, low price of $3,500. It gets worse because of course it does. After you're told to quit your job and focus only on training new members who then pay money for that training, the practitioner has to give a portion of the income they make from those new members to the cult. So it truly is an MLM. Former members tell horror stories of barely surviving financially, of spending more and more money each year in order to stay certified, and of the abuse they suffered if they fell short. Many followers report going into debt and spending their life savings to keep progressing within the school. Also, when you get higher up in the ranks of the cult, you have to go through this very bizarre and dangerous death ritual. The cult members dig an actual grave, cover the members in a plastic bag, and bury them in the ground. They actually cover living people in dirt and make them lie in their own graves. After they dig them back up, they get a god or goddess name taken from Greek or Japanese mythology. I mean, I can't say a lot there. There was a time in my life where I was given a new name. That's something that happens in Mormon temples. But yeah, all of this, as out there as it sounds, is very Cult 101. Now, I would love to be able to tell you that this cult is dying out, but let me show you some short clips of the many TikToks I found.
When you do the very serious work of choosing yourself.
Is that what's happening?
100%. And what gave you the confidence?
Delusion.
Hey guys, we are in high creation timelines.
I just wanted to talk to you guys about a service that I offer. As an energy worker, I am a trauma therapist as well, but I'm going to focus today on the Modern Mystery School.
I'm a spiritual guide. We are one of the original 7 ancient mystery schools.
It kind of sounds like a cult.
Sounds a little culty.
In the mystery school, in order to enter the gates, in order to become an initiate, you have to be initiated by somebody who has been given the power and the authority to do so.
You have the power to change your life, that you are not doomed to a life of failure.
People do one or the other. They avoid, they ignore, suppress, spiritually bypass. They act like nothing happened. It was a long time ago. I'm happy.
I wanted to talk today a little bit about the Empower Thyself class and initiation.
The concept of a mystery school is a very ancient one.
What does it mean to create magic is to using your own will beyond your thoughts. This is way beyond mind over matter. This is your will.
If one of these situations are happening in your life, you may be a modern day initiate.
So, you know that I work with the Modern Mystery School.
Look, if people want to get involved in New Age spirituality, believe they are doing some great and important work, fine. But when you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars to level up within a program, girl, you in a cult. When you're told you have to recruit other members, you're in a cult. When your existence in a system relies upon you bringing new members and more money to that system, you're in a cult. When you're sitting around doing things like this and you have to pay money for it, girl, you in a cult. Gudni and Dave Lanyon, along with Hideko Natagomi, become sort of the three musketeers of swindling. Dave openly admits in an interview that to rise through the ranks and gain entry into the school of the mage, it's going to cost you $100,000 and 4 years of your life. See how they set these aspirations? They give people something to achieve, something to want. It's brilliant con artistry, and it's also infuriating. They are charging people massive amounts of money to become certified in something that doesn't exist, something that is totally meaningless outside the group. If you spend $100,000 on a house, you've got an asset. You can sell that asset to recoup money or even make more money. Now, of course, the cult members are going to say, this is an investment in your life, not a mere material thing. Okay, so tell me this. If they really cared about people transforming their lives and they had this, school of knowledge that they wanted to pass on to better humanity, why does it cost money? I don't want to hear a word about you spend your money on material things and think that gives you more value. But if you pay money to me, you're investing in yourself. It is so damned insidious. Cult leaders like this want to make people feel wrong for spending money on things of actual value, but then turn around and charge money for something with no value. They're con artists. They're snake oil salesmen. Full stop. I wish I had better news. I wish I could tell you that this cult was dying out, that it was being seen as the ridiculous load of shit that it is. But sadly, that's not the case. People have free will. That's the way it should be. I just hope that someday soon, people choose to use their free will to learn and realize that no one has the answers. No one has special powers or magical abilities. The hard, cold truth is that we are all painfully, banally equal in the most fundamental of ways. No one knows why we're here. No one knows where we're going. And anyone who pretends to is a liar. But these con artists prey upon people who are seeking what they cannot give them. They cannot give them the answers to life or why we are here or where we go after this. And because the truth of what I just said is terrifying, many people are looking for anyone who claims to have the answers that will give them peace and comfort. Preying upon people looking for peace is evil. And if my videos can help even one person avoid the pit that these con artists dig to trap them in, well, that's good with me. Thank you for joining me today on Dark Hearts with Stacy Lee. I hope you enjoyed that goofy story. Hit the like button. It helps so much, not just on my videos, but any creators you watch. This is my podcast. It's on Apple and Spotify. I post brand new episodes every Monday and Wednesday. I want to give a special thank you to my patrons. You guys are the best. Don't forget about our fundraisers. There's a playlist on my channel entitled Fundraisers. You can watch the videos and find out how you can get involved. We've got some great causes we're raising money for. As always, I look forward to talking with you in the comments, especially some of you make the best comments about these cult episodes. You guys are funny. Stay safe, my friends, and be kind to each other. And I will see you next time on Dark Hearts with Stacy Lee. Bye.